MLB The Show on the Nintendo Switch over the years has been a fun yet flawed addition to the Switch library. While the modes and gameplay were pretty solid, the visuals and performance were just all over the place. With the release of the Switch 2, are these graphical and frame rate issues finally fixed? Well, like many other Switch 1 games on the new system, kinda. Let's get into it. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on all those notifications. Sign up in the comments down below, and we may read it out on our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. Of course, you can find this in written form over on our website, thefamicast.com. Big shout out and special thanks to our patrons for their continued support. Now today, though, we're taking a look at MLB The Show 25 on the Nintendo Switch 2 with a heavy focus on the game's performance on Nintendo's new hardware. Before we get into the performance of the Show 25 on the Switch 2, I just want to note that if you want to watch an in-depth look at all the facets of the game, including modes, gameplay, and stuff like that, we already have a review for the game up that you can actually check out right here on our YouTube channel. Now, the main purpose of this performance review is to share the improvements that you will find when playing the Switch 1 version of the Show 25 on the Nintendo Switch 2. Also, just to be clear, MLB The Show 25, as of right now, has not received a native release on the Nintendo Switch 2. Any and all improvements discussed are thanks to the tech inside the Switch 2 itself. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. I was pleasantly surprised to find the Show 25 runs considerably better on Nintendo Switch 2 than it does when compared to the original Switch. Now, the frame rate here has been improved drastically with the help from the Switch 2 itself. Now, this has been pretty consistent across the board with many games on the platform, even for games that did not specifically receive some kind of upgrade. When playing the Show 25 on the original Switch, the game appears to have an unlocked frame rate in docked mode. Now, there are times when the game runs very smoothly on the older hardware, such as when there's really not a lot going on screen, but other times the game will suffer considerably when there's like more stuff going on when you're in big stadiums, stuff like that. Games with unlocked frame rates seem to be benefiting the most from the Switch 2 upgrade, and things are really no different here. The gameplay in dock mode is also pretty close to 60 frames per second, and the game just runs so much smoother than it does on the base Switch 1 hardware. Now, not only that, but the load times here have also been cut down considerably too, which was a really nice surprise. Now, even with these positives, it's important to note one thing. The graphics and visual elements still remain largely unchanged here. The stadium still lacks some detail, textures are blurry, such as, the field and signage and stuff like that, and some of the backgrounds still just look bad, sometimes horrible in some cases. Now, if you can get over that, I think the improvements with the performance really freshen things up and could potentially make the game easier to play because of them. Although the show fares pretty well in docked mode, the differences in handheld are a bit more subtle. The game runs nowhere near as smoothly as it does when docked, and it still suffers from many of the graphical issues that were found in the Switch 1. Jagged edges along foul lines and many other parts of the stadiums can sometimes just look absolutely terrible. Now, the game does seem to be running a little bit smoother here, though, but it's nowhere near as crisp as playing on the TV. Text is also a little bit blurry and difficult to read. I mean, sure, my eyesight definitely isn't what it used to be, so your mileage may vary with that, but I do think some of you guys out there will notice this if you're actually playing this on your own Switch 2. I think the most positive takeaway from playing on the Switch 2 and handheld is that, again, as with the docked mode, load times are still significantly faster on the Switch 1 and are basically in line with what you'll find in docked mode. I was pleasantly surprised to find the Show 25 performs considerably better on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's really night and day when comparing the experience. The frame rate here is more stable, the game loads faster, and things are just generally better. Well, I mean, at least on TV. Things are still pretty rough in handheld, but if you've been playing the game on the Switch, you'll kind of know what to expect. It's not going to blow you away in handheld, but on the TV, it really does look significantly better. Now, one thing I think to remember going into this too is that this is still a Switch game. Environments are low poly, the crowd is still somewhat pixelated, and the detail just can't compare with what's on offer on PlayStation or Xbox. I mean, at this point, it's extremely unlikely that San Diego Studio will bother with the Switch 2 specific version of the Show 25. Now, even with that said, if you recently picked up a Switch 2 and already have the game, I mean, this is something that you just have to kind of see to believe for yourself. Now, if you're looking for a solid baseball game that runs pretty smoothly, playing the Switch version on the Switch 2 is pretty nice, but not without flaws. It's going to be interesting to see where San Diego Studios takes things for the Switch 26 on Nintendo's platform. But let's go ahead and turn things over to you guys. Have you tried out the Show 25 on the Switch 2? Are you enjoying it on the Switch 1? Sound off with any and all comments down below. We'd definitely love to hear from you. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like what you see here, please feel free to drop this one a like. And if you feel that we've earned it, consider dropping us a sub here. And if you want to take it even further because you can't get enough of us or whatever, consider supporting us over on Patreon, where you'll get access to ad-free videos, tons of exclusive podcasts, and more stuff. Now, from us here at the Famicast, be sure to check out our website, famicast.com, and the YouTube channel for reviews, event coverage in Japan, looks at sports titles on Nintendo platforms like this, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.